What is up, everybody? Welcome into this Friday episode of Flippin Bats, where we got a lot of baseball to talk about. The AL West is going to be one of the best finishes, it appears, in a long, long time. We also have Elly De La Cruz making some more history out there. Also, the NL West. How many teams from the NL West are going to make the playoffs? 1, 2, 3? We'll talk all about that. We also have Immaculate Grid, things that make you go, and some fan questions as well. This one is going to be a blast. Let's get to it.
5 ball onto the track, at the wall, it's gone! Home run!
Turns on a ball, deep right field, and gone!
What a game, what a moment. Happy Friday, my friends. I am joined, as always, by Alex Curry. And Alex, we have a lot of baseball to talk about because, honestly, there was a lot that had already happened, and we were going to talk all about it yesterday. But obviously, late Wednesday night, the Shohei Ohtani news breaking, and yesterday we had to dive deep in on that and what that means for his future, the Angels' future. We full deep dive on the big Shohei news, but the baseball world does roll on.
It does roll on. Games are still happening. There are still hundreds of other players, but yes, absolutely heartbreaking, devastating, not only for Shohei Ohtani and the Angels organization, but for us baseball fans to not watch the greatest player in the game be on the field and most likely not pitch for another year. But we did get to see another great pitcher this week. Your brother continues his strong outings.
He was dominant this week. And, man, it's been a couple months now. He was still with the Mets when, you asked me a couple weeks in a row, is Justin back? Is Justin back? And I was saying, no. And then it got to a point where I said yes.
Yeah, we're on third. Yeah.
And then ever since then, for the most part, he's had some stinkers in there, but for the most part, he's been really, really good since then. And he's coming off of a start on the other night where he went 6 innings, 9 strikeouts, 0 earned runs given up, 9 punch outs. And it looked to me, and again, I watch every start. I've seen him pitch more than most everybody on planet Earth has. I could tell from the second he came out that his fastball was back. He's throwing 96, 97 in the first inning, tons of swings and misses on that fastball. Devers struck out in that first inning on all heaters. You could just tell, not just the velo, right? It was 96, 97, a good bit, which was a tick up from where it had been, but it just had some late life that I hadn't yet seen this year. And I texted him that after he came out of the game. I was like, dude, your fastball, and not just velocity, it looked like it was back. And Justin said after the game, he said, between last start and this one, I felt like I really found something mechanically that answered a lot of questions for me. And went on to say, he's the most meticulous person that I have ever seen in terms of wanting to be good at his craft. And I can only imagine, I'm not close with this guy, but the only comparison to Justin at this point in the sports world recently was Tom Brady in the football world and how well he takes care of himself. What's so funny?
I thought you were going to say, I'm not too close with this guy. I was like, he's your brother. You talk every single day on FaceTime. You're talking about Tom Brady. I was like, wait a second here.
No, I'm not close with Tom Brady, but from the outside, it appears.
He is soon to be a coworker here at Fox Sports.
Yes, it appears that Tom obviously took really good care of his body and was very meticulous at his craft and did it until he was into his 40s. And Justin is on that same path. And Justin talked about how, it just never felt like it was there yet. Like it was getting better and better, but something was missing. And he said he was watching Instagram videos, and he's always like watching videos, seeing if he can pick up on something or hear something.
Like watch his own videos or
his own, other people
just
talking, pitching, just pitching
Okay.
videos. And he did. He said he found something that made him have a thought of, wait, when I did this with my back and like something clicked for him. And he's like, I took it into a bullpen. Felt really good, but you never really know. You never really know until you take it into a game. So he did, and it was back. I mean, his fastball was back. Everything looked really good, and it was really cool talking to him post-game and hearing his thoughts in the post-game interviews as well, just about how much you could see it on his face. He was happy he was back, and he said between the last start and this one, I feel like I found something mechanically that answered a lot of questions for me. So yeah, he's back. Alex, we got 6 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, 0 earned runs, and 1 fuck off, Alex, to the manager. So there was a lot going on.
Look at you dropping an
quote
F-bomb.
unquote
Fun and spicy
quote,
Friday.
unquote. Actually,
it's okay. Still keep out of your mouth.
Mom texted.
gonna be so
Mom
mad.
texted me about Justin's bad language. I'm just repeating what Justin said. I'm just repeating what he said. But it stirred up quite the reaction from the baseball world.
I love it. I mean, Houston loves your brother.
Yeah.
Like it's just fun to see him back there, the fans happy that he's back there. And then, as you said, because again, he didn't start the season. He started the season with an injury. And when you don't have a spring training, especially for a pitcher, to ramp up to where you want to be, you're literally having your spring training during the season.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time. Yeah, we're in the later part of the season, the second half, the back end. But he's just in time. Back on.
Just in time.
Just in time. I didn't even mean to do that one.
That was a Just Incredible reference.
Yay.
Get it? Just Incredible.
I
feel like I need to reference the quote that I just the quote. The situation that happened out on the field, Justin had to step off because his pitch comm stopped working.
Yeah.
So he stepped off and like pointed to his head like I can't hear.
Yeah.
So and the umpire was like calling a violation on him. That's not just, I can't. My pitch comm stopped working. He went over to the dugout, switched the pitch comm, and then started walking back over to talk to the umpire. And Alex Cora came out of the dugout and was basically like yelling at him, saying it should be a violation. He could hear, claiming he could. That's what Justin kept saying. I didn't shake that at bat. So clearly Alex Cora was saying, he was shaking the pitches, meaning he could hear. He's lying about the pitch comm. And that's when Justin said, I didn't shake. F off, Alex. And just brushed it off. But it was great. I mean,
I love a good spicy interaction like that. It's great. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was good. So, really good, promising stuff there from Justin. And the 9 strikeouts was really good to see. He's back. Yep.
Just in time. All right, let's move on to making a statement. Obviously, yesterday we spent the entire show breaking down the devastating Shohei Ohtani situation. If you haven't listened to that one, go back, hear all of our thoughts about the entire situation from yesterday's show. But we are bringing Thursday's normal making a statement to Friday. So let's get started in the AL West. Are you ready for this? The AL West race will come down to the last series of the season.
This is one of the better. It's, we've gotten good races down the stretch, but this is just shaping up to be. You have 3 teams.
Yeah.
They're all kind of doing different things right now. You have the Rangers, who have been the worst they have been all season right now, still holding on barely top of the division. You have the Astros, who are
creeping up
and down and a little only creeping up because the Rangers were so bad, but it's been very up and down. And then you have the Mariners, who have been as up as you can possibly be. Yeah. And Mariners have won 8 straight games for the second time this month. It's August 25th.
Yeah.
And the Mariners have won 8 games multiple times this month. That is remarkable. There was a week stretch starting mid last week and into this week, a 1 week stretch where the Mariners picked up 6.5 games on the Rangers. 6.5 games in 1 week.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, they had a lot of great things happen all at once. I think the Mariners did what we thought maybe the Angels were going to do at the trade deadline.
Who thought?
Well, what the Angels thought, like why they decided to keep Shohei Ohtani and make a push for a possible wild card spot. Like, okay, we're going to do this.
Maybe they thought.
No, they did the exact opposite and just lost a ton of games in a row. And the Mariners went, our turn. We're playing great. The Mariners have entered the chat, and now they are within a couple of games of both the Astros and the Rangers. And it is going to come down to these last series. I mean, Seattle's last 3 series, Rangers, Astros, Rangers.
The last 10 games for the Mariners this year. The last 10 games are alternating between the Rangers and the Astros and the Rangers.
Yeah.
They go 3 at the Rangers, 3 home against the Astros, and to end the season, a 4-game home series against the Texas Rangers. This is the division is absolutely going to come down to the last week of the year. Alex, at one point, the Mariners were 50-50. 50-50.
Yeah.
They're now 51-76. Entering Thursday, 51-20 or 71-56. That's a 21-6 stretch. That's crazy.
I mean, it's not that hard. All you got to do is win.
You heard it here first. It's not that hard.
It's not
with that
that
rotation, with what Julio is doing.
Well, yeah, he helped too. Team on his back.
Nobody's stopping this team. I wouldn't hesitate to pick the Mariners. You didn't ask me who was winning the division.
I didn't.
I wouldn't hesitate to pick the Mariners right now.
Over your Astros?
Over my brother's Astros.
Well, you said that was your
No
pick.
bias here.
No, that was your pick
Mariners
at the beginning of the season. Was
to win the World
Astros
Series.
to win the AL West.
Yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying. Over your pick, not your pick for the Astros
that's
to win the
if
AL
I were to
West.
ask if I were to be asked, I would still ride with my prediction. But I would not be shocked at all if the Mariners were the team to stick with that rotation they have.
Yeah.
With Julio doing what he's doing, he's lifted the entire offense. The place is buzzing again up there in Seattle. They've been the hottest team in the American League, 21-6 over their last 27 games. It's been quite the stretch. The AL West is going to be. It makes me excited. You know this.
Yep.
I love baseball. I wake up in the mornings thinking about how exciting the AL West race is going to be down the stretch. Man, what do I have going on today? Oh man, that's going to be a fun race to the AL West division. My brain's a little wonky sometimes, but it's all fun stuff. AL West
all the time. Yeah.
AL West.
200 unresponded to text messages because he's just thinking about the AL West.
I'm just thinking about the AL West.
That's what's happening. All right. Well, let's move to the NL West in our next statement. And this is a little different. We're going to have you do a fill in the blank.
Okay.
The NL West will have blank playoff teams.
Well, let's start from the top.
Okay.
Where the Dodgers are certainly one.
Yep.
And then go through the division.
Okay.
Let's play this out here. Now these are all entering. We'll do entering Thursday. The D-backs had won 4 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They're a half a game out of a wild card spot.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants really struggling, outside looking in.
But also only a half a game out of a wild card spot.
Yeah. But if there's 2 teams a half game out, I'd rather be the one playing really well than the one playing poorly. But yes, both of those half a game out. And then you got to throw the Padres are looming.
6 games
They're
out.
looming from a couple miles away.
Yeah.
But they're 6 games out.
But they have the All-Stars. So if you're going to bet on someone to kick it into a different gear at some point, maybe, I don't know when we kind of give up on that, but I'm going to still saying there's maybe a chance.
I'm going to say 2. I'll say we get 2.
All right. Arizona or San Francisco?
What do you mean? Or the Padres?
Well, the Dodgers are going to make it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the Padres. You didn't give it.
Oh, you think they would jump? Okay.
They have a
Who
chance.
do you think? Who would be the second team? Who you betting on the second team?
Oh man.
Yeah,
I was
go.
hoping you didn't ask. I'll take the D-backs.
Of course you will.
Fighting D-backs. My bold playoff prediction this year was the D-backs, and they're playing really good. They made a couple moves that have really worked out for them. They didn't make the big sexy move, but they went and got a couple guys that have really helped them. Tommy Pham's been really good for them.
Yeah.
Paul Sewald back into the bullpen, holding it down. I'll say the D-backs.
Okay.
So I guess that leaves the Padres missing the playoffs, but I wouldn't. The reason I keep mentioning them is because I don't yet think their season has not been canceled. I have not canceled them, which leads to something that I did yesterday in the heat of the moment that many might have missed, but it was an important moment for the sake of this show.
Yeah.
Back to the AL West. The Angels.
Yeah.
They've been canceled.
Oh, yeah.
Alex.
No, you said that.
Yeah.
Heated.
It was heated. But in case you missed it or you weren't listening, there has been another team canceled this season.
So this past week has been
11.
the Yankees and the Angels.
Yeah. There were 9 originally.
Yeah.
And then the Yankees.
And those were the 2
Angels.
that were like on the verge of being canceled
there it is.
when we started.
Angels. You're canceled.
Yeah.
Not yet with the Padres.
Yeah.
Not yet with the Padres.
All right. Let's move on.
Okay.
More exciting,
more
positive young players. Elly De La Cruz is the most exciting player in baseball.
Well, this is a little bit easier now that Shohei is not currently playing, and his news happened because, I think it'd be tough to say that anybody other than a guy that's doing the greatest things of all time is the most exciting. So, for sake of argument, we'll take Shohei out of this. Who comes to mind here for me? Elly, certainly. Ronald Acuna, certainly. Mookie, certainly. I think Aaron Judge is in that conversation just because of how good he is. I don't watch Aaron Judge and think like it's different. Aaron Judge is just the best hitter right. The best hitter in baseball.
4 home runs in like 24 hours.
4 homers in the span of exactly.
Yeah.
24 hours. He's on a tear. But I think it's Elly. I think the most exciting player in baseball right now is Elly De La Cruz. And we saw him. Speaking of Shohei, we got a great interaction with him out there. Elly hit this ball that he had no business hitting as far as he did, off balance. And then we got this cool moment out at second base with Shohei on the bases where Elly goes up to Shohei and is like touching him like, Are you real?
Yeah.
Do you really exist? And Shohei kind of gave it back to him like, hey, what was that you just hit out? And the hard thing about seeing that conversation is Shohei at that point knew his UCL
we
was
didn't
torn.
know, but you can see he's being very careful with his arms. Like he's happy, but there is just something in his body language that isn't as vibrant.
Yeah. So, I think Elly's the most exciting player. Look at what he did this past week. He became the fastest player in MLB history to 10 homers and 20 steals. He did it in 64 games. 10 home runs and 20 steals. Fastest in history. And the guy that he beat for that historic stat is a guy named Barry Bonds, who was pretty good in his day, I would say. So, you know what? I watch him and he does things that it doesn't seem real. He made it from first base to home the other day. And I tried counting. I legitimately tried counting this. He made it from second to home in 15 strides. Yeah. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
He has such long legs too that he's so fast. Faster than everybody else. He has so much energy. We had Matt McClain on the show a couple weeks ago, and Matt talked about how he doesn't have enough swag. So one day in spring training, Elly went up to him and was like, "Let me teach you, man. I got you." Oh, Elly told Matt they didn't have enough swag?
Elly told Matt he doesn't have enough swag. He needs to learn how to bat flip and stuff. And he's just so cool. Inside the Parkers, cycles, speed, a rocket for an arm at shortstop, power, can hit for an average. Elly De La Cruz is the most exciting player in baseball.
He's living up to all the hype.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's stick with some young talent for our next statement. The Orioles should call up Jackson Holliday.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No. Look, it's fun to talk about. He's 19 years old. He was just drafted. He's hitting at every level he's been at, right? In 14 games in single A, he hit 396 with a 1.182 OPS. In 57 games at high A, he hit 314 with a 1.183 OPS. And in 19 games at double A, he hit 380 with he's hitting 380 with a 1.026 OPS. And this is the number one prospect in baseball. And I know this is coming off of the heels of me being very vocal about draft picks getting called up, but those were college guys that are 21 years old coming out that I believe are closer to ready. Jackson Holliday is 19, and I know we've seen it before, right? King Griffey Jr., Mike Trout, but there is more to baseball than just offense, right? You're expecting him to go out there and be the starting shortstop for the number one team in the American League. It's a lot to ask. I think next year would be quick. I think next year would be like, oh my God, Jackson Holliday made it up to the big leagues already, and he's the starting shortstop for the Baltimore Orioles. That would be crazy. This year, just let him ride it out through double A.
Well, I think when we had this conversation, I don't know if it was earlier this week, about calling up draft picks, and your argument was there's a difference between a college kid who's 20 plus years old, who has had that kind of on your own experience while playing baseball, compared to a 19-year-old fresh out of high school learning to be on his own through the minor leagues. I think this is where you need to have a conversation with the coaches and the managers and really ask, like, where is he maturity wise? Where is he mentally wise? Because that's different than what you're going to get on. It's more than just what you do on the field. Yeah, there's so much more that comes with it. And you need to know if they're going to be able to handle it and be able to balance it and juggle the life of a big leaguer at 19. And
this guy was facing high school pitching like a year ago. High school. Are you kidding me? And that's the thing that and this is why I was very specifically saying, like, Division I top talent, top picks, I think should be called up sooner. The reasoning behind that is if you're playing at a Division I school against really good opponents, you have struggled at some point, right? And the first rounders, yes, maybe they're hitting like 380 in college and getting drafted, but you have gone through a period of time over a 56 game season plus postseason that you've struggled. Mm-hmm. Jackson Holliday has never struggled in his life, and it's coming. Yeah. You know, and I can't sure, he's probably gone a couple games in a row before without a hit, but that might be it. He's faced high schoolers. He's dominated. I think he hit like 600, 700 or something there. And now he's gone through all these levels of the minor leagues and he's raked. Struggling is coming. And honestly, if you're the Orioles, you probably want him over the next few weeks to struggle and then see that last week or two of the year to figure it out. Okay. Because baseball is so mental, as I say time and time and time again, and he hasn't experienced that. And I can't speak to his life experiences, but I know he was a top draft pick and he's raked at every level of the minor leagues and he raked in high school. He needs to experience the struggle. Yeah. Of baseball, and he's 19. It's going to happen in the minor leagues. Jackson Holliday does not need to get called up to the big leagues to experience struggling. It is coming. Those guys throw 100 miles an hour with nasty stuff. Let him experience a full let him experience a full minor league season, the ups and downs that come from that, and then next year, put him in big league spring training and let it play out as it meant. Yeah, see if he can handle. Yeah. All right, moving on to our next statement. The White Sox haven't made enough changes. You know, the White Sox came out over the last couple of days and fired a lot of people in that front office. Fired the GM, fired the president of baseball ops, executive vice president Ken Williams, GM Rick Hahn. They were both relieved of their duties. And, you know, a question came up to me, or a question came about on social media of Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the team, talking about this, just saying, like, you know, I had a lot of internal conversations and internal interviews trying to figure out what the problem was and ultimately decided that this was the best decision. Hey, Jerry, did you have a conversation with yourself? Did you maybe think you're the problem? Because you are. You know, we're just flushing out these guys, and he's gonna call in somebody internally. I don't know if you've heard over the last few months, your internal situation is an absolute nightmare. Internally is not the answer, but that's what he's doing. Oh, I'm going to look internally. Maybe you should look super internally, like at yourself. Maybe you should look in a mirror and realize you're the problem. Yes, you're the problem. It's you, Jerry. Unbelievable. What do you mean I had internal conversations? Well, nobody in those internal conversations had the ability, because you're the owner, to say, hey, Jerry, yeah, man, we think it's you. You're the problem. Nobody can do that. Nobody can do that. He owns the team. Sell the team. But
when you hear the players, former players, obviously all coming out and talking about how there is no culture, there is no leadership, there is no structure within this organization. Obviously, it's all internal. So why would you have internal conversations to see what you can fix when obviously it's not working, and then hire internally when internally it's not working.
Ego.
It just makes zero sense. You need like
Ego.
an outside party to come in and say something.
It's ego.
Yeah.
Okay, look, this season is a nightmare. It got to the point, he didn't want to fire Rick Hahn and Ken Williams. They've been there he didn't want to do that. So it got to the point where it's like, okay, I'm getting a lot of flack here. I got to do something. Okay, sorry guys. I love you all. You're out. Okay, I'm going to hire someone internally.
Yeah.
Like he's the most like, he's not thinking, he's the most like, he hired his friend Tony La Russa to be the manager.
By the way, rumors are that he's bringing him back on as a consultant.
What? What did you say?
Might be bringing him back on as like a consultant.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Jesus. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like all internal. Oh, you're a friend of mine, Tony La Russa. You're a friend of mine, so-and-so. Let me hire. No, this situation calls for a complete reboot. And look, when you own the team, there ain't nobody that can tell you otherwise. You can do whatever you want. Yep. But if you want to win and you want to create a different culture, you need to either go outside and completely clear house, or you need to realize you failed and should just sell the team.
Check your ego at the door. Yes,
absolutely. But we've talked a lot about the culture in the locker room and all those things happening, the Tim Anderson stuff, the Yasmani Grandal things, and then Kane and Middleton leaving and saying all that stuff. Over the last couple of days, Eloy Jimenez was asked in the locker room after a really bad loss, like, hey, are there when there's conversations in the locker room, is anybody like stepping up as a leader saying like, hey, we need, who's stepping up as a leader? And Eloy was like, no, we don't have those conversations. Nope. Nobody.
So nothing's changed.
That's so unacceptable.
Nothing's changed.
And that's unacceptable for the players.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Everything.
That's what it is.
Is unacceptable here. That is on the players. I'm so mind blown by that. Who's the leader on the team? Nobody?
Yeah.
Unacceptable. I don't even know what the question was. What was the statement?
The White Sox haven't made enough changes.
No, not even close. Not even close. Look in the mirror, Jerry. Look in the mirror.
All right, we are back with the baseball world's favorite game right now called Immaculate Grid. We've played this the last couple of weeks on this show. Ben will have 90 seconds to guess 9 players. Now, if you're new to this game, give you a little background. There's 9 squares, 3 rows on the top and on the side. And if you have the teams or the accolades along the top or along the left side, each of the squares has to line up with a player that's played with both teams or the accolades.
It was good. It was the first time you've explained it. You did great.
Thank you.
That was really good.
I was trying to make it easier for someone who doesn't play the game.
No, that was good.
And that's how I've explained it to myself and
I
other
start
people.
to get nervous for this. I
know.
set the bar too. I started with 8.
You're playing with your hands over there, freaking out.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. You got 90 seconds. I got to figure. It's a lot of pressure. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, so we're gonna put 90 seconds on the clock. The grid's going on the board, and Ben's gonna try to get the 9 players. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
There you go.
First, okay, Royals, Padres, 30 stolen base season. Okay, so we'll start Royals, Twins. Royals, Twins. I don't know why Royals, Twins.
Having a moment.
My head just keeps going to Billy Hamilton. And last time I went against my head, I was right originally. I'm gonna go Billy Hamilton here. Okay, that's right. Great. Padres, Twins. Padres, Twins. Gary Sanchez. Okay, Twins, 30 stolen base. I mean, there might be a better, less popular answer, but I'll go Rod Carew.
Nice.
Okay, Phillies, 40 seconds. Phillies, Royals. Oh my God. Phillies, Royals. Oh God.
I can hear the control room making noise back there.
Mariners, Padres. I'll go Nelson Cruz. Let me knock out the stolen bases. I can do the stolen. Okay, Phillies.
You got 26
Phillies
seconds.
stolen bases. Jimmy Rollins. Mariners stolen bases. Ichiro is probably more popular. I'm gonna go Julio. Julio Rodriguez. Okay. Oh God.
You got 3 more.
Oh God. Phillies, Royals. Oh.
Come on.
Phillies, Padres, Mariners, Royals.
5. Any of them?
No.
2,
No.
1. All right.
What is
Same
that?
score as last
6. I don't feel fine. They did fine. You know what?
Everything's fine.
Everything's
okay?
fine. The
Everything's
people
fine.
on
I'm not freaking
TikTok
out. You're
that
freaking
watch
out.
this are like, I have 90 seconds.
They're just talking shit to you.
I
the
have
whole
90
time.
seconds on the
I love
spot,
it.
live
I love
on a
it.
show, and they're like,
Freaking
"You
out.
idiot! You should have said
Freaking out on
Old
this
Hoss
Friday.
Rat Barn. It's so obvious." I'm like, give me a break. I feel like that's pretty good.
Now that you've had a moment, is there anyone that comes to mind? Peanut Gallery over there. Is there anyone shouted out that you missed? That's obvious.
I mean, Padres, Phillies. Who am I missing?
Kimbrel.
Kimbrel's good. Carlos Santana for Mariners,
Ugh.
Royals. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay.
Not
Under
bad.
pressure.
Yeah. 6. But like I said, I got the Tigers in the very first one we did on the show.
I know. And you
So
got
I ended
8
up
of
with
9. You got
I
8
got
of 9.
8 of 9. Am
okay.
I ever going to go immaculate on here? I don't know.
Yes.
But it's fun.
Yeah. I told you. You
We're
got
having
to
fun.
keep your hopes and your dreams high so you can reach them.
Let's go to the next segment.
All right, we're moving on to things that make you go, because it's Friday. And that's what we do on Friday. And we're going to start here in LA with our first one. Dodger Stadium underwater.
Okay.
Was it real?
We got a hurricane.
We got a tropical storm.
We got a tropical storm.
Tropical storm.
Where you all heard me say earlier this week, it rained.
Yeah.
It rained.
But the thing is you always have to prepare for the worst, just in case the worst happened. We didn't get the worst. We got lucky. I call that a win.
No, I'm not.
I call
I'm
that a win.
not happy that it. No, it turned out great.
Yeah,
And nothing happened though. It rained.
a lot.
No, a normal amount. It rained a normal amount. And Dodger Stadium, there was this video that went viral of this helicopter flying around the stadium. It looks like it was underwater. It's not. It's just a glistening parking lot.
I didn't think it looked underwater. The parking lot is just wet.
But that's why the video went viral, because
Yeah.
it looked like the whole place was flooded. It's a parking. You know what I learned?
What?
I learned a lot out here. This made me go,
What?
Back home in Virginia, and
Yeah.
literally anywhere I've ever driven ever in the history of driving, every highway is like slanted. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
so the water runoff.
Right, so the water runs off.
Yeah.
You drive back. We did our episode. I drive back home, and there's just standing water on the freeway because nobody realized we should probably put it on a little bit of slope. In the off chance that maybe it rains one day and we get a little bit of a rainstorm that everyone's going to call a tropical
You drive
storm.
in the middle lanes, not the outside lanes, so you don't get the big splash or your car doesn't hydroplane. That's what you learn when you're out here. You just stay away from the outside lanes.
I
You
just feel like
adjust.
the one thing I'm really worried about out here weather-wise is the big one. The big earthquake that's coming.
Was it the hurricane?
And no,
is what
it
everyone's
wasn't.
calling it?
Yes, technically, that's what
hurricane?
people are calling it. But I'm worried about the big earthquake that's coming. That's gonna
It's coming.
shove California off into the Pacific Ocean. But
Might
everybody's
just kind of like go into the earth.
yeah. But everybody
and go
else is
into
just
the
like,
earth.
oh my God, it rained. No, we should be worried about the earthquake.
Yeah, and then a tsunami. That's what I have nightmares about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes me go. Great.
All right. Let's move on to our next things that make you go, Aaron Judge recreating the iconic Jordan ring photo.
Okay. If you haven't seen it, I think everybody's seen the Jordan ring photo where he has all of his
can't.
championship rings
can't.
on and poses
can't.
with like his hand on his face, and it's iconic.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron Judge, the newest signee with Jumpman, and for that, in honor of that, he did a little photo shoot, and they had him recreate the Jordan iconic photo.
But he's not wearing
Now,
championship rings.
you know why, Alex? Because he doesn't have any championship rings, which is why you shouldn't have him take that photo. Whoever's idea that was, it should
Bad
be
PR.
That's just bad.
It's just bad PR.
Whose idea was that?
Also, the ring is just the Jumpman, the Jordan logo on
And
it.
it's a tiny.
It's so
It's a tiny Jumpman.
It's just all around bad.
It's just
Just bad.
Somebody.
It's weird.
Somebody needs to be disciplined.
It's just
for that idea.
disciplined, Ben.
Hey.
Someone needs to be disciplined.
Okay. Hey, we did this really cool photo with Michael Jordan where he's wearing his 100 NBA championship rings.
Yeah.
We
the
should.
best of the best, the GOAT.
we should recreate that with Aaron Judge. Oh, that's a good idea. How many rings does he have? Well,
none.
But no. What are we doing? Yeah. And it's not on Aaron Judge. Like, he signed, like, just somebody set him up for failure.
Yeah. I mean, he did hit 4 home runs in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And he was like the home run champ last year. Do you think he made like a home run championship ring? You know, sometimes like.
Do I think he made a home run championship ring? No, Alex, I
or
don't.
The team presented him with something. You know, teams give like awards or things like that.
I think he got stuff like an MVP award. I'm sure he got a watch, but I don't think he made a ring of his.
Do they make MVP rings or just the plaque?
The plaque. And then you typically will get stuff from the team, the organization.
Cool yeah. All right. Let's move on. From one of the best to one of the worst.
Oh.
And our next things that make you go, John Fisher says he has not considered selling the A's. That's just sad.
Yeah. You know, I don't believe that. I don't believe that it hasn't like come up in his head, because it's impossible not to, with millions of people shouting at you every day, sell the team. It's impossible for you to not think about it. But the fact that he is publicly coming out saying he hasn't thought about it means that he's not going to, which is just a disservice to the baseball world and to baseball fans and to Oakland fans and to fans of that organization. If it becomes not Oakland, if it becomes Las Vegas, this is a disservice to Las Vegas A's fans. If you think the A's are just going to move to Las Vegas and all of a sudden start spending a bunch of money,
no.
Not with John Fisher at the helm. That ain't going to happen.
They're going to expect you to spend a lot of money to come to their stadium in Las Vegas. So he makes more money, but doesn't have to spend more money.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. Ridiculous statement.
Yeah.
Sell the team. I'm saying a lot of sell. I've become very sell.
You've become the cancel guy and the sell guy.
That's my brand. You know me. Cancel, sell, negative.
Let's stay with owners.
Okay.
All right. Boy. Because the Orioles owner came out with some interesting payroll comments.
Yeah, you know, so he came out over the few days ago, maybe a week ago now, and with this Orioles team that is proceeding to be, you know, they're on the cusp of the
third best team in baseball.
Greatness. Yeah, third best team, sure. Record-wise, that's false. But they're one of the best teams in baseball, the best team in the American League this year. But this year, it almost feels like this is just scratching the surface. They're on the cusp of greatness for a decade, and things are riding so high. And there's a lot of really good young players that are involved in that. And John Angelos comes out and basically says, like, yeah, we're not going to be able to pay all these guys. Like, I can't just be handing out this $200 million contract and this $150 million question. And, you know, a lot of the quote is here, but basically in a nutshell, what he said is, let's say we sat down and showed you the finances for the Orioles. You will quickly see that when people talk about giving this player $200 million, that player $150 million, we would be so financially underwater that you'd have to raise the prices massively. Now, are people going to come and pay that? I don't know if we're at that limit, to your point. I don't know if we're in equilibrium elasticity, supply and demand. Maybe he goes off the rails here. You get the gist of the conversation. He's basically saying
he doesn't have the money to pay.
I'm not going to pay these players unless I raise prices all around the stadium and everything.
Or you get bigger sponsorships, more sponsorships. There's other ways to go about it that make the fans pay for it.
So I asked Smoltz about that for this coming Saturday, for tomorrow's episode, Saturday with Smoltz. And he said, look, he's telling the truth. Like,
yeah,
he's telling the truth, but this is Smoltz. What he's saying is true. I just don't know why you would say that right now. Your fan base is riding on a high. Everything's going great. Your team looks really good.
Yeah.
What? In the last month, there's been more conversations about Kevin Brown, the radio broadcaster, and John Angelos not being able to pay for everybody than there has been about this team being the best team in the American League this year. And that's sad. That sucks.
It's inexperience. It's not knowing how to be the best. You see teams that are like constantly great teams, like the Dodgers.
Yeah.
You keep it about baseball.
I mean, if you want to, he's not wrong. There are teams that do do what he's saying. The Padres have done it. The Mets are doing it. The Yankees have done it in the past, and they did it with the Aaron Judge contract. But, you know, I've said this a million times. Their blueprint that the Orioles are following with a lot of the same people in the organization is the Houston Astros blueprint. And Jim Crane, the owner, doesn't just shell out the money like that. He doesn't do those big, huge contracts, but he doesn't say it. He doesn't like come out in the middle of the first like really good season and say, you guys might think the future is bright, but guess what? I ain't paying all these guys. What's the point?
Well, there's also the Braves who have like their own system of taking a chance on these young guys right when they develop them, right when they get them, signing him to what seems like a big contract for them at that time. And then it becomes a steal in 5 years.
Yeah, there is ways
to go about
landscape
it.
of how to sign players is really interesting. You have the Astros, one, who have been the best team in baseball over the last decade, who are under the assumption it's like pay your guys a worthy AAV, annual value for it's not going to be 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Then you have the Padres and the Mets who are like, we'll pay you whatever for as long as you want.
Yeah.
And then you have the Braves who are, okay, we're gonna pay you super early on, long-term deal, low AAV, and if you take it, great. You take it and you want to be a part of this organization. And then you have like the Rays way, which is, you know, like they just don't spend on the big players.
It's just a rehab for players to come in and like revamp their careers.
Yeah. So it is it's an interesting way of looking at it, but the Orioles, I just don't know why the owner came out and said that.
Yeah, shouldn't have said that. Let's move on to our next things that make you go, and head back to New York, because this is a funny one. The Yankee team goes hitless, except for the only player who was hitting under 100 on the year went 2 for 2.
Yes, Ben Rortvedt is the reason this makes you go, is because it sounds a little crazy, right? He went 2 for 2. He came into the game hitting under 100. He went 2 for 2, and the Yankees ended up with how many hits that game? 2, meaning everybody else in the lineup went hitless. And if that sounds crazy, it's because it is the only time in Major League Baseball history in the modern era where that has ever happened, where a player entered hitting sub 200 and got the only 2 hits of the game. The Yankees are a nightmare. It is rock bottom. We talked about it earlier in the week. And then you have Brian Cashman, the GM, coming out a couple of days ago saying, yeah, this season has been a disaster.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. It is an absolute nightmare. I really don't see like a clear, bright future path for this Yankees team. Like I don't
do something during
I've
the
been
offseason.
saying this for years, and I said it before last season. And I don't think what the Yankees have done is good enough to win a championship. It wins, you know, I don't think they've done enough. You know what the Yankees did? They made the playoffs. They put me in their hype video saying, I just don't think the Yankees did enough to be much better. And guess what? They proceeded to get swept in the ALCS just a couple days later.
No. They were 4 games away from the World Series.
Tomato, potato.
Don't forget their spin, their master spin tactic.
Spin zone, 4 games from the World Series.
Yeah.
But again, what are they going to do? Put me, this is what I believe. They haven't done enough. Like, great start. Garrett Cole, Aaron Judge, you know, Carlos Rodon, this is a weird year. I think see what happens next year. Anthony Volpe, he's the shortstop of the future. But like, God, they're so boring, man.
It's bad. It's just bad.
It is.
It was bad.
At least Aaron Judge is hitting 4 homers in 24 hours. But like, man, they have the lowest sprint speed in all of baseball. It's just like there's
nothing.
Yeah.
This last things that make you go, is going to make you even more frustrated.
Man, we're just getting fired up.
I know. We're just going to keep the spice going for our final things that make you go, The White Sox are potential candidates to move to Nashville. What?
So this was reported. This is not Alex making that up.
I am not making this up.
It was reported that the White Sox are a potential candidate to move their team to Nashville. No, Nashville is going to be a fantastic expansion city. We're not just going to move a team there. That doesn't just magically make your team and organization better, Jerry. It doesn't. You don't just move and it makes it all better. That's not how that works. You look in the mirror. Things aren't not going well because they're on the south side of Chicago. Things aren't going well because of the GM situation, the president of ops situation, the locker room situation, the lack of leadership anywhere in the organization. That's why things aren't going well. Baseball can be fine on the south side. Jerry just needs to look in the mirror and either sell the team to somebody that understands that and is willing to do the right things and that loves baseball. I've said this so many times. I'm not asking for a lot. I just want owners that love baseball, that want their team to win, not bottom line first. And look, I get this isn't the best like business venture. Then don't make it. Get in it for the passion of the game. Okay? Like if your goal is to get into the team to make the most money possible, then great. Do it. Nobody can stop you because you got more money than anybody else. But if you get in it for the love of the game, what Steve Cohen has done, he got in for the love of the game. Him and his wife are massive. They grew up in New York. His wife, massive Mets fan. He bought the Mets as a passion project.
Yeah.
And you see that. But a lot of these other owners are like, well, the bottom line is skewed a little bit. I make a little bit less money if I do that. That ain't helping the game. The game of baseball needs owners that love the game of baseball and want to win with their team and want to put a winning product out there. And moving to Nashville changes nothing if you don't change things internally.
Yeah, that's fair.
Thank you.
Let's wrap things up on a high note.
Okay.
With some fan questions.
Great.
Yeah?
Yep.
All right, let's start with Danny. Our first fan question comes from Danny. Ben, in your opinion, do you think the Astros pitcher J.P. France name should be in the mix for Rookie of the Year? And how about Diaz?
Yeah, absolutely. J.P. France has been the Houston Astros are not where they are this year without J.P. France. And imagine saying that at the beginning of the year to Astros fans, being like, "Hey, you guys are going to be, in the hunt and in the division at the end of August, not in first place, but a big part of the reason you're going to be there is because of JP France." That rotation, by and large, though it appears to be a strength, has not been a strength. The offense is good. Bullpen's been really good lately. The starters have just been too inconsistent. Fromber's just been too inconsistent. He'll go out and throw a no-hitter one game and then not look like a shell of himself the next. JP France has probably been the most consistent guy in that rotation all year long and absolutely deserves to be in the AL Rookie of the Year conversation. I think that's going to be Gunnar Henderson. This week's podcast guest, by the way, who is awesome.
Great.
But yes, him, Yainer Diaz would be in the conversation
if he
but
played more.
Dusty didn't really play him for a while.
Yeah.
He's now playing more and we're seeing how productive he can be. But those two are a big part of why the Astros are good this year.
All right, moving on to our next question from Savannah. Should players be held more accountable just as much as the front office in a team's success over the years?
I think it's largely dependent on situations. But yes, teams and players certainly should be held accountable. Yeah. And when a team is bad, let's use the White Sox or the Yankees for this instance. Let's use the Yankees. Where we look at this season where the Yankees are the worst they've been since I was born, right? Yeah. And you start hearing the outside noise of, okay, well, Cashman needs to go. Hal isn't the same as George. He's not spending the same way. This would never be allowed. And okay, Aaron Boone. Those are all fair conversations to have. But it's also a fair conversation to have of like, there's a lot of underperformance going on the field. And, is that the player's fault? Well, to a degree, it has to be. There's underperformance. But there is a degree of, I think the majority of it is on the front office and for putting a
team together.
Look, if you're counting on this Yankees team, like next year, let's say they did nothing at the trade deadline. If they do nothing in the offseason of substance, that means this is an organization that is counting on next year Anthony Rizzo to come back healthy, DJ LeMahieu to have a bounce back year, Giancarlo Stanton to have a bounce back year. But the Yankees have put themselves as an organization in a position where if they have a single injury, they are screwed. If Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton or Anthony Rizzo or DJ LeMahieu have a bad year or a hurt year, they are screwed. And that's not going to work. It's 162 games. Somebody's going to get hurt, and they've just put themselves in a position where if they have an injury, they're done for.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing, and that is front office. And that's why I think the front office deserves the majority of the blame.
All right, moving on to our next fan question from Ian. Can you help me understand why the Twins can't pull away and win the division already?
Yeah, it is weird. The Twins are the most talented team in that division. And I just keep waiting for the pull away, like the rotation, really good. Pablo Lopez, Sonny Gray, Joe Ryan, like they're going to have a good playoff rotation. The offense, to a degree, this is where underperformance comes into play. Yeah. Carlos Correa, your team, your front office goes out. We haven't
talked about him at all.
And signs his big deal. Well, that's just underperformance. The guy's hitting like 225 on the year, and he's got power, sure. And I do believe Carlos will show up when the playoffs are here, but they're not pulling away because there's been that underperformance on the field. And I do, like I said, I think they're the most talented.
They should win the division.
They'll
win the
division.
Behind them. Yeah. Detroit, they're 4.5 games in first, so they'll be okay.
How about my Tigers, though?
7 games back?
Yeah. Semantics. They're playing good baseball.
All right. We got one more fan question from Double Player. Does Mookie's return to Fenway make Dodgers Red Sox the series of the weekend?
Man, I am excited to watch this.
Yes.
I hope Mookie's going to go back and get quite the ovation.
They'll make a video for him, right?
Oh, my God. Yeah, he's going to get won an MVP.
They're the ones that messed up.
He won an MVP there.
Yeah,
he won a World Series there. And he wanted to be there.
Yeah.
But the organization messed it up again, and he ended up walking out the door, and now we're here, and he's in a place that he loves, and a place that he's happy, and a place that he's playing good baseball, and a place that he gets to play right field and second base and shortstop, and he's going to go back there, and it's going to be I think it's going to be a really cool, special, emotional series for him, for the fan base, and for ownership as well. I'm excited to watch that.
I'm excited too. I mean, there's a couple players that kind of swap teams. You have Justin Turner and Kenley Jansen that are on the Red Sox now.
You got a lot of crossover.
Yeah,
Verdugo,
used to be Dodgers.
Kike is back with the Dodgers now.
Back and forth within the same year.
There's been a lot with these two teams over the last couple of years.
They don't share guys, but they trade to each
other. So Justin Turner
other.
Playing his former team for the first time. I mean, we're getting. Did they play?
I don't know. Kenley Jansen got injured Wednesday. He left the game with a tight hamstring, which is really bad for the Red Sox, considering
it didn't look good. Actually.
He's converted each of his last 20 save opportunities. Like, he has been red hot for the Red Sox, and if they don't have him, I don't think that there's much of a chance against the.
I didn't like that reference.
What?
Even for me, that was a little cheesy.
It wasn't bad. I can't try. It happens when I don't mean it to happen. I tried.
In the words of Alex Curry, I'm not ha-ha funny. I just provide the ha-has.
I do.
Which is true.
It is.
Yeah, I'm excited for this series. Again, yes, it's Mookie's return. That's going to be the big thing here. But the crossover, Kike just going back, Justin Turner now playing his former team, but in a new place. Yeah. I mean, it'll be a cool series to watch.
It's going to be fun. That is the one to watch.
Yep.
And that's it for our Friday show.
All right. Beefy Friday show. What?
Beefy.
It was a beefy show.
Jam-packed. Full.
All of these work.
Yeah, okay. I'll go with that.
Great. You have a thesaurus. any of these work.
Spicy.
Thank you all for listening to this Friday episode. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Again, Alex mentioned it earlier, but the Shohei episode was Thursday. It was all about his injury, what that means for his free agency, when we will see him back out on the field, if he's going to resign, would he resign with the Angels, what it means for the future of him as a two-way player. All of that was Thursday. Wednesday was Gunnar Henderson of the Orioles. He was awesome. That was a really fun conversation. And tomorrow, Saturday, with Smoltz, as we do every single Saturday with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. So thank you all for listening. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify. We're also on all social media, including YouTube, where you can watch every single thing we do on YouTube. But for this Friday episode of Flippin' Bats, that does it, my friends. Have a great weekend, everyone. Peace.